Hey, what's up, guys? This is Justin. Got another great episode in store for you today. Is your year off to a great start, or are you experiencing some difficulties and hard times? Maybe you're experiencing some trials and tribulations, or maybe you're just feeling in the dumps and you're looking for a way out. I've got a great episode in store for you today. Make sure you tune in. Don't miss this one. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Justin Ford Podcast, where I'll be releasing life-changing principles and valuable information focused on all things faith, finance, family, fitness, real estate, and so much more. Let's go! What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Justin Ford Podcast. Super excited to be with you here again today. I hope you've been doing great since the last episode. If you're loving the show, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. And if you're really loving the show, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. If you haven't followed me yet on social media, you can at The Official Justin Ford. Again, at The Official Justin Ford. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, and also here on YouTube. Got a great episode in store for you today. But before we get into that, I do want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Next Door Lending. Next Door Lending is a team of professionals that believe everyone should be treated as if they live next door. The founders and team members have more than 150 years of combined loan experience, helping clients all over the country choose the best loan program to help you accomplish your goals. Next Door Lending is currently licensed in over 26 states and has a team of over 100 loan officers specializing in helping you get the best rate and terms. And so whether you're looking to refinance your home or you're looking to purchase your next home, call my friends over at Next Door Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. And so the year is off and running. Guys, it's February, and I know that especially if you're here in the Midwest, in Michigan, or somewhere in the Northeast, it's been cold. And I know a lot of times in winter, you come off the new year, you're excited, you got goals, you got things you want to accomplish, but then, life is just, it comes back to normal, right? And maybe the excitement and the emotions and the feelings of crushing it in 2026 kind of wear off. And maybe some of you have already faced challenges and hardships already in the beginning of the year. And it's so easy to just kind of, throw in the towel, get discouraged, maybe slow down, maybe forget all about the things that you want to accomplish and kind of go back into, just going through the motions. And that is tough, and it happens. And, that could even happen if you're in warmer climates or other places. But I know it's been pretty chilly all around the country because it is winter. But I will say this, when we think of the winter season, a lot of times winter is where sometimes things are dormant. Things are, kind of like underneath the snow. Things are just, ready to flourish. And then spring comes, and then we see growth, we see new life, we see things blooming again. And it kind of goes along with life too. A lot of times we have different seasons in life where, sometimes we're in a great season and everything's going great. We feel great, we got a lot of good things going on, but then sometimes we're more in like a winter season where things are tough, things are difficult. We feel like we can never catch a break. Financially, maybe we're struggling, in relationships we're struggling, maybe even our health we're struggling. And as I was thinking this morning, what I could really share, on this podcast, I really wanted it to be an encouragement to you, because I know that oftentimes we feel like, life is supposed to go good and it's supposed to go our way. And we'd love for that to be the case all the time. But the reality is that's not really life. Life is, full of trials and tribulations. Life is full of great times and good times, and life is also full of hard times and difficult times. And I really feel that some people really need to be encouraged today, because you're doing the things that you feel like you're supposed to be doing. You're showing up, you're trying your best, you're giving it your best, you're doing your best, and yet things are tough, and you really just need a break. You feel like throwing in the towel. You want to quit. You want to give up. But I really want to encourage you today that, don't give up. Don't quit. Don't throw in the towel, because what you're going through right now, and maybe some of the times that you're experiencing right now, if they're difficult, are really the times that that you're really being developed and you're really growing, even though you might not see it, even though you might not feel it. It's in the difficult times and it's in the hard times that you're growing and developing. A lot of times, people pray, or they desire, to have more peace or more joy, and then we find ourselves in or more patience, and then we find ourselves in situations where our patience is tested, our peace is tested. Something is trying to steal our joy, and then we also, struggle, trying to remain consistent, especially if you did start off the new year good. You were, working out, you're working on your health, you're saving money or whatever's, your goals were. And now all of a sudden you're struggling again. And you have to really just stop beating yourself up, because I know a lot of times you can beat yourself up when things aren't going the way that you want them to. And I look at my own life, it's been, let me see, this will be, what year is it? 2026. I'm 43. It's been 24 years since I changed my life and became a Christian and started, building the life that I have right now. And although things are great in my life, I'm so blessed. And yet there's so many areas of my life I feel like, are not consistent. There's so many areas of my life that I want to be more, consistent or more, better in. And I've learned over time that life is a journey and life is a process, and we need to learn how to enjoy the journey and enjoy the process, even when times are difficult, even when things aren't going our way, even when, we set out to accomplish something specific, or we set out to accomplish certain goals, or we envision how things are hopefully going to go and supposed to go, and they don't go that way. That you can still find peace, you can still find joy in the journey, and not always feel overwhelmed, discouraged, anxious, depressed, because I feel like a lot of those things come when our existing reality doesn't match what we desire and what we're ultimately looking to hopefully have in life, be in life, or do in life. Because a lot of times when we envision the goal being accomplished, we envision our dreams, being fulfilled. We envision maybe our vision for what we want in our future. What we don't see is what it's going to take to get there. We almost, like, in a sense, glorify the end result, and we attach ourselves to that end result from an emotional standpoint. But then once we start down the path or the journey to build that life, to become healthy, to lose weight, to build muscle, to have a better marriage, to save money, to invest, whatever it is, we hit some bumps in the road, right? A curveball gets thrown at us. We have some difficulty that pops up. And rather than being caught off guard, which most people are, and they're like, oh no, this wasn't a part of the plan. It's not supposed to be like this. You have to expect those things. You almost have to be prepared for those things, because those things are a part of the process, right? And I think it's so funny. When my kids were younger, they always used to watch Dora the Explorer, right? And they would look at the map. And if you know Dora the Explorer, the map was a big part of the show. And the map would pop up and it would, like, show the destination of where the treasure was or wherever they were going. And then Dora and Boots and Backpack, they'd all set out for this journey. But then what would come along on the journey, right? All of these obstacles. Swiper would be coming in to try to swipe things. There'd be, like, alligators in the water that they need to cross. There'd be, like, animals that are trying to prevent them from getting where they want to go. But they would always look for a solution to navigate through that specific obstacle. And they never took their eyes off the destination of where they were going. And so is life. And that's going to happen. We have to learn how to expect trials and tribulations. Matter of fact, if you're a believer, the Bible says, count it all joy when you face, not if you face, when you face trials and tribulations. Why? Why should you count it all joy? Because knowing that the testing of your faith is building and producing endurance in you, And so if you know that these trials and tribulations are building endurance and perseverance in you, what does it say? Let endurance do its work. Let endurance have its perfect result and have its way so that you can be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Now, we'll never be perfect in life. We'll never truly just have everything together. But what I've learned over my 24 years on this journey is every trial, every tribulation, every hardship is working together for the good. Matter of fact, even Romans 8:28, which is my life verse that I learned when I was living at Grace Centers of Hope, which is a faith-based homeless treatment center at 19 years old, I learned this verse. And we know God causes all things to work together for the good to those that love him and been called according to his purpose. And so for those of you that have been going through difficulties, for those of you that are currently in some trials and tribulations, for those of you that have been experiencing difficulty, maybe for a long time or even currently, I want you to count it all joy. I want you to stop looking at what's wrong, and I want you to look at what can you learn during where you are right now. What are some lessons you can learn? What are some things that you can take away? And what is God ultimately using those things to do in your life to build your character, to mature you, to help you grow in wisdom, and to be prepared for what's ahead? Where I am in life right now, the things that I have, right? Multiple businesses, the opportunity to influence people, the opportunity to, kind of oversee what I have in my life right now at 43 years old. I couldn't have done it 23 years old. I couldn't have done it 33 years old. Why? Because there were some things that I needed to learn. There were some things that I needed to grow in, and there were some things that had to happen in my life to prepare me for where I am today, to teach me lessons along the way so that I could be where I am right now. The Bible also says, he that's faithful with little will be faithful with much. What does that mean? Well, what we have today, as far as where we are in life, not just so much material things or physical things, but what we have today, what God has entrusted us with today, the marriage we have, the relationships we have, the children we have, the resources, the finances, the position, the influence. If we're able to steward that right, then what happens is we can be trusted with more. But if we can't steward what we have right now and get that right, how can we be really entrusted with more? And so, again, I really wanted to just encourage somebody today that where you are may not be the bad place that you think it is. Maybe it's exactly where you're supposed to be. Maybe you're going through exactly what you're supposed to go through. Maybe it's all a part of God's plan for where he is taking you in life. And maybe God is just waiting for you to stop complaining and start counting it all joy. Maybe God is waiting for you to realize that this is a part of his process to get you to where he ultimately wants to take you. And I can assure you of this: you can't circumvent the process. You have to go through it. But what I will say is this: you can delay the promise or the place that God is taking you by not really submitting to the process and learning how to count it all joy. This is what happened to the Israelites when God delivered Israel from Egypt. They came out of Egypt and they were in the wilderness for 40 years. They never made it. Most of them never made it into the promised land. And yet it was an 11-day journey. It was an 11-day journey. But what did they start to do? Started to complain, started to not trust God, started to look at what was going on around them. And what did they actually want? They wanted to go back to slavery in Egypt. They wanted to go back to Egypt, where God just delivered them from, because they didn't trust God where to take him, or where he wanted to take them. And so maybe you're closer than you think you are to breakthrough. Maybe you're closer than you think you are to the place that God wants to take you. But maybe you're complaining, you're grumbling, you're woe is me, which is all, I get it, valid feelings, right? I've been there. But maybe God is wanting to shift your mindset. Maybe God is wanting to shift your focus, and he wants you to realize that this is a part of the journey and that you can actually count it all joy. Because if we really understand what the end result is of what we're going through now, we would get excited. We would understand that, hey man, this is a part of God's plan. And you know what? God, you know better than me. Take me through. This is why David said in Psalm 23, I just read it the other day, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Because you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So even in the dark place, even in the difficult time, I can walk through the difficulty and fear no evil. I can walk through the difficulty and not be afraid. I can walk through the difficulty and know that as long as God is with me, he's going to walk me through and get me out on the other side. Be encouraged, my friends. I really, getting this understanding and really being able to shift your mindset will help you in the days and weeks and months to come in your journey ahead. And the only reason I can share this is because I've walked through the valley of the shadow of death many times. I've gone through many, many trials and tribulations, and I've learned to count it all joy. I've learned to trust God. I've learned to push through, even in areas of my life that I reflect. I'm like, God, I just want to be more consistent in this area. I just wish I had it more together in this area. I wish I had my life more consistent. But rather than staying there, I just get back up again. I keep going. I show up. I keep pushing forward. I keep moving in the direction that I desire to go and that God is leading me, because I'm closer than I think I am. And so are you. So I hope this message encouraged you today. I really appreciate you always tuning in. I appreciate all of you that reach out and share your encouragement from the show. Appreciate, always supporting the show. I think we're at 4 years this month that we've been doing the podcast. So thank you so much for your continued support of the Justin Ford podcast. And so, if you really love the episode, again, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Feel free to share this episode with a friend or someone that you know that needs to be encouraged. And feel free to reach out if there's anything, if I can pray for you, if you need anything, if you want to connect, shoot me a DM. I'm on all the different social media platforms. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, and also here on YouTube. Feel free to reach out. Would love to support you. Before we wrap up today's episode, I do want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Next Door Lending. They're not just a sponsor of the show. This is our lender partner for the Justin Ford real estate team. This is who we entrust all our buyers with. Why? I think they're over 1,200, maybe 1,500 5-star reviews, a perfect A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call our friends over at Next Door Lending. And if you're a real estate agent like me looking for a great mortgage partner, call my friends over at Next Door Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. 2 things I always like to leave you with. Number 1, it's not how you start. What matters is how you finish. And number 2, with God, all things are possible. God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.